everybody, my name is Joey. Welcome to my channel. I'm so happy for what is on my mat today. This is the Didi's Deluxe Bead Box for August 2025, and there has recently been some growth at Didi Beads. She has added boxes to her monthly thing that she does, and for those of you not familiar with the Didi's Deluxe Bead Box, it is not a subscription box. It's a limited edition, high quality, expertly curated box that she sells on a first come first serve basis. It goes for sale on the 12th of every month between 11 and 12 Eastern Standard Time, and you'll see reveals on just a few channels because it is a boutique bead business. Stella, the founder and owner and curator of this box, is amazing. As you can see, she has done it again, and as we go through the unboxing, I will just point out some of the things like from a design viewpoint that are amazing that she has come up with, and some things that are a little bit outside of the box that we normally do with some of these beads. And this month's box is called Mochaccino, and aptly named. Look how gorgeous this is. It is a palette of neutrals. It is super on trend for 2025 with our Pantone color of the year being in the brown family, you know, being a neutral color. And with a palette like this, if you wanted to pop a color in here or even a stronger neutral, like pop some black in here, that would be stunning. But if you wanted to add another color, like I think purple would be gorgeous in here, even like a teal green would be really, really pretty. I intend to keep it neutral, and I'm just so excited. Okay, so today, after I share the contents of the box, I believe I'm gonna make 3 bracelets, at least 3. I've also designed a multi-strand leather necklace, and I'm going to come back in another video and do that. And I've also designed a pair of earrings, so I'll see what I can get done in today's video without the video being too long. And I'm going to start by sharing this gorgeous Mochaccino bead strand. This is her classic inspired by Czech designer strand, so there is a designer strand every month in this beautiful box. And this one is breathtaking, absolutely breathtaking. I've seen this Czech glass heart before, but I have never seen this rather matte, very opaque. It looks like the color that I like my coffee to be when I put my cream in it. It's absolutely perfect. The embossing is stunning. It's a 2-sided bead. There are some flowers. There are some gorgeous coordinating Czech glass butterfly beads on here. And I love, love, love these teardrop beads. I think I'm gonna try to get a pair of earrings out of these. And there is 2 different Czech glass flowers on here. This one is a little bit concave in the middle, and this one is kind of raised out, and she dots her piece with gorgeous little bead caps. She does an amazing job with her Czech strands. I love that, and I can tell you that this is going to go in one of my bracelet projects. Actually, I'm going to spread this out and try to get 2, maybe even more bracelets out of it. I didn't cut it apart yet and kind of work those details out because I wanted to, you know, share it with you guys before I did all of that. And then I am totally in love with this. This is 15 inches of the sweetest size of 6mm. This is a natural black moonstone strand. This is the most beautiful strand of gemstones. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. The color variation in here is stunning, and I think this is going to be my main bead on my bracelets and probably on my necklace in my next video. And then I love that she stayed with another gorgeous natural element. These are Baroque pearls. They are between 7 and 8mm, and it's a natural freshwater pearl. So no 2 are going to be alike on this strand. If you zero in like on the individual pearls, they are just absolutely stunning. I just love them. That one's shaped like an egg. These are gorgeous. If you like to do bird's nests, this is the perfect thing to put your 3 little eggs in the middle of the bird's nest. But this also goes so beautifully with the mocha colors and with the other shells and natural things in the box. I actually don't want to put it down, but I have to, because up next is a 6mm natural stripe mother of pearl shell bead. And again, this is absolutely gorgeous. There's a 7.5 strand. Did I say there's a 7.5 inch strand of the pearls as well? So another 7.5 inch strand, and look at the banding. These are just stripy little beads. They remind me of my cat. They're just beautiful. The perfect little stripes, and look at the gorgeous opalescent flash of that mother of pearl in that bead. This is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. I mean, honestly, when beads look like this, all you need to do is string them and you're done. Your work is done. You don't have to be a crazy good designer when your beads look like this. You really don't. You just put them on string and wear them. It's beautiful. And then this is so gorgeous. These are mother of pearl shell rice beads. I wish you guys could feel these because they're absolutely like glass silk. They're so smooth and they're just like literally slinky. They're so beautiful. There is also a 7-inch strand of this, and it's 9 by 6 millimeter, and it's a natural brown mother of pearl. So you get that perfect mochaccino, like it's that coffee with a lot of cream in it color. It's absolutely beautiful. I mean, Stella she is an expert at, I love working with her. Many of you know that we do a collaboration box, and I have to tell you that if you didn't see the announcements that are posted on her Facebook page and on my community tab or my post tab on my channel about the upcoming collaboration, we've commissioned an artist to make another handmade bead for this next box, and it's absolutely wonderful. It's colorful, and hint hint, I guess that's all I'm going to tell you, but it's coming soon. So we don't expect it to last very long. Our boxes sell out really quickly, and we'll probably do a larger quantity in the future, but we could not on this one because we commissioned an artist to make a handmade bead for every single box, and so it really was limited because her hand was on every bead. So if you're interested in that, don't wait, mark your calendars. We haven't decided the reveal day just yet. Well, as of this filming, let me say that. So let me go to the next. I got off track because when I work with Stella, there's a lot of joy and a lot of inspiration, and as you can see. Okay, so next is a coin bead. This is a mother of pearl shell coin bead. It's an irregular coin. There will be between 7 and 8 millimeter, and also a lovely 7-inch strand. So again, I like to kind of zero in on the different beads. Like this one's a little bit square, and then look at the one next to it. It's so pretty. It's like a little distorted round, like an organic round. I mean, the whole strand is very organic, but they're gorgeous. And this one is like a perfect round coin. So there's a couple of perfect ones on the strand too. And then, I mean, this heart is my favorite thing in the whole box. I absolutely love it. This is my next favorite thing. And those of you that know me just a tiny bit, you know that I have a love affair going on with O beads, donut beads, he/she disc beads, any kind of a disc, and this is no exception. This is a gemstone brown jade he/she rondelle. It is so gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I've already cut my strand. There is a 12-inch strand here. I've already cut my strand because I had to do a tester for one of my projects. Do you guys want to see? Can I like pause the regularly scheduled program? I'm so excited about it because it's going to be a multi-strand, and I'm going to add in some leather. I got this 1 millimeter natural cord at a clearance. You can see we had a national chain go out of business, and I had to do a little tester with those beads. So I'm going to be making bead stations that look like this. I'm adding in a few things from my stash. I always do that. I really like to personalize my boxes and make my designs specific to me, and have kind of my signature. So that's a little sneak peek of the next video that I'm going to do with this box, and I'm really excited about it. Okay, back to the program. This is gorgeous and so generous. This is a 15-inch strand of an 8 by 6 millimeter faceted crystal rondelle mix. The colorway is called Mochaccino. Look how it glistens, just beautiful. I actually am in love with this color. It's very taupey. I absolutely love it. So when I cut it, I may be harvesting like my favorite color, but they are stunning together. It is a beautiful mix. And then this is genius. This is absolutely genius. Brava, 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 Stella. I could applaud you. She put this in. She put a little asterisk and said, for a pop of elegance. These are 6 by 4 millimeter multicolor he/she crystal discs. There's a 15-inch strand here. and it just glistens, and it is like a really chunky disc. Absolutely beautiful. And what I love about this is it's not the normal thing that you put with all the natural shell, the Baroque pearls, the opaque matte beads. It's not the normal thing that you would think of, and it's certainly not the normal thing that you would think to go with a Z bead. This is absolutely gorgeous. This is a 30 millimeter natural brown Tibetan Z agate barrel bead. The colors will vary because it's natural. I haven't had a Z bead in a while. I haven't worked with one in a while, and I tend to use these for men's jewelry, for leather bracelets for men. And when I saw what Stella did here, like I said, brava, brava, because how gorgeous is that to have this natural Z agate bead with this bling. It's just not something I would have thought to do, and I love it. And hint, hint, that's going to be one of my bracelets. I think that's amazing. I'm going to pop in some gold spacers, and I think it's going to be the most wonderful bracelet. I'm so excited. And like Stella always surprises me. You know, I have a design background, and I think of things that maybe the average person wouldn't, because of so many years of decorating and doing color storyboards and, you know, doing model homes and spec homes for builders, and you know, just all the color swatches and the paint swatches and the tile swatches over the years. So I know that I think of things and see things that the average person doesn't. But Stella, even with that being said, she surprises me. She's amazing, and I just love her. So this is a case in point. It's wonderful. Okay, she put these gorgeous shell, aren't they amazing? These mother of pearl shell clover leaves with the rhinestone in the middle and this beautiful gold bezel. Look how stunning they are. I love that little negative space, that kind of open work in the middle. And in the collection, there's also a gold-plated brass, but all of these are gold-plated brass, but a little shell wing. So sweet. That's absolutely gorgeous. I love that. And then there's always a bonus item in Stella's box every month, and this is a stainless steel cuff bangle bracelet. It's got the gold plating on it, and she put a little note, endless possibilities for wire wrapping, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. And I'm going to start with this bracelet. And this is my advice for those of you that want to do this project. If you try to do a perfect pattern when you are wrapping wire onto a bangle like this, any little mistake or any little discrepancy will show. But if you do random beads, it is more forgiving. So if you're a person that's not experienced with doing kind of wire wrapping onto things, then I would suggest that you kind of choose a few random beads, and it will be more forgiving in the way your wraps look if you need that, you know, if you need that grace. So that's what I'm going to do, because I am not I don't consider myself a wire artist. I'm really not. I play with wire a lot for years and years, have lots of experience, and I love to try things. So, you know, I do have experience, but I don't consider myself super graceful with wire at all. But so I'm going to take all of this off, because I'm going to pick and choose from this strand. Now my heart is going to be the focal on another separate bracelet, and I think that I want to set these teardrops aside for earrings. I just love, I've had this bead in orange, I've had it in turquoise, I've had it in pink, but I've never seen this color, and I just love it, and I think it's stunning. And I may even choose pearl to go with this. I'm not sure, but I really love it with the pearl. The possibilities in this box are absolutely endless. So I'm going to set these little guys aside. I'm going to set this aside. Well, let me just clean up for a second the things that I know I'm not using right away. I didn't really want to put anything away, to be honest, but I do want to focus on this bracelet first, and I'm going to be using a piece of 26 gauge wire. I'm just at the end of my spool. I use soft flex wire. I really love it for this kind of thing. It has an anti-tarnish coating on it, and I like to warm it and smooth it, and I didn't even measure because it's out of my scrap bag. But let me show you what else I'm going to be pulling in for these projects, possibly. So whenever I get a bead box, even one that I've curated with Stella where I had a hand in the selections, I still go shopping in my own supplies. And for today, this is what I've pulled so far, and these may or may not make their way in, but I was thinking a really shiny gold spacer bead might be pretty, since Stella's idea was to add this bling, so that may get used. You saw a little sample of this on my next video project. These are Howlite creamy colored, coffee creamer colored little Hishi disc spacers. I have some natural bamboo beads here, and I really love the idea of adding those in, because look how they look with the Mochaccino color story. They're just beautiful. And then I have a lot more of these, but I just pulled one out because I think this cowrie shell is gorgeous with the pearls, with the Z bead. I mean, it's just gorgeous with everything. And so I may, I think I'm going to do mixed media. I'm still thinking, but I think that, I don't know, I'm going to play with the crystals and the Z bead, and I really would like this cowrie shell in one of my bracelets. I'm going to end up making a stack of bracelets, so it may even go with these gorgeous gemstone beads. I don't know, but I really liked it with the box. And then I have some large hole spacers here, and I'm also going to pull from this Tibetan spacer mix probably. I have this, that's what I have out here. So that's my idea. You know, maybe you'll glean something from it. Let me just kind of set these aside, and I want to focus on, oh, this is a little bit of shell came off the back of my cowrie shell. Okay, I want to focus on my first bracelet that I'm going to be wrapping with the 26 gauge wire, and for sure I want one of the butterflies in here. So the first thing, I think I'm going to start in the middle, and then I'm going to leave some length of wire so that I can like put my wire in the middle and start in the middle of the bracelet wrapping, and that way I can work this way and this way with my random pattern of beads. And I'm going to start, I'm holding it with my thumb and forefinger, and I'm going to start by getting a couple of wraps, 2 or 3, just to get it nice and secure. And I'll get my pliers in here to draw everything together. Just pull it nice and tight. Go around on the bottom with this one, and this one's on the top. Just want to start with a few wraps. Not going to see a lot of my wire, but I do like to keep my wraps pretty neat. And like I said, I'm going to start with a butterfly and feed him on my shorter strand. And I think I'm going to do him maybe at a little bit of an angle instead of straight. Just a tiny bit. I mean, after you wrap, you can make adjustments. So I'm just going to come back underneath and do a couple of wraps. You can also add in wire when you're doing this, but the one thing, at least for me, I don't like the back of a piece to look messy. So whoops, I dropped my pliers. So what I was saying, I don't like the back of my piece to look messy. I want the back to look really good too. So I check front to back as I'm wire wrapping a thing like this. And I'm going to come over here to the butterfly and just get this around. So I'm wrapping this around the base of the butterfly. So if you want to wrap your bangle bracelet, you know, like that's my advice, is to keep checking the back so you're not making a mess on the back. Okay, so I have my first little bead on, and then I think next I'm going to go for maybe a spacer bead, but I'd really like a round bead, so maybe this. I'm just going to play for a second with what I want to put in my bracelet. I could also just use the bead caps and these beautiful crystals. That's a possibility. I I'm going to cut these open as well. I'm just going to play for a second and I'll come back and show you what I decide to do. It's so pretty. I did a bead cap, one of these stripy little beads, and another bead cap, and I really like it. It's really pretty. So I'm going to do that same thing. Push everything up to my butterfly, lay it right here, hold it with my thumb and finger, and get a couple wraps. I just want to like get my end here as tucked as I can and kind of chase it around the bangle. I'm going to wrap on top of it too to make sure. When I add my next beads, I'm going to wrap on top of it, but I just want to get it like really snuggled in there. And I poked this around and through my beads. And I'm going to add in some wire maybe because I do want something else here. So I'm going to come in between, push everything together. Pull tight. Make sure the back looks good. You know, you could do 22 or 24 gauge wire. The Softflex company has all those gauges. I just happen to have this, and when it's thinner, you can do more wraps around. So I'm going to like poke this under my butterfly so that you don't see these wraps. Just get this wire tucked and snipped before I keep going with beads. So I decided to keep going with this collage idea and just like filling in these little spaces with the smaller beads and wire. And I'm just going to go under the butterfly and come back around and do that again. Okay, this is just like a little bit of a bead collage, and anywhere that I look down the side, and anywhere that I just didn't like the way that the wire was laying. At one point I wrapped around this flower and I didn't like seeing the wire there. So this is I'm pretty much done with this, except I think I'm going to add one more spacer there, and then I'm going to wrap it and tuck it, and that is just the most fun, easy, very organic. Like, what I love about it, like I said, is if you don't try to do a specific pattern, it's really forgiving. No, I don't like that one. See, if I don't like seeing the wire in there. If I don't like something, before I go on, I'll just back it down and like find another path. Okay, so I'm just going to do a final wrap where I can hide my wire and pull it really tight. And when I get it nice and neat on the back and nice and tight, then I'm going to trim right there. Everything is really secure. Look at that, you guys. So fun and easy. It's like a bead cluster, and it's like very organic and very free form, but it almost looks like a little bracelet bar on this. It's so gorgeous. Scrunch everything together so it's nice and tight. I love it. I think it's absolutely gorgeous and fun and fast, like super fast. Okay, so up next, I'm going to, let's see, I want to work on the Z bead and this bracelet, and I think I'm going to do this on leather. I'm going to go ahead and take all of these off and put them in a little dish because I hate this wire that they string beads on sometimes, especially crystal beads. I always end up with a little piece of it in my skin. Okay, I had to pause because I decided I wanted to do a button closure on this leather bracelet instead of making a hook. So what I did is took my two ends of my leather and fed one end through each of this the holes in this gold button. This is just from my stash. This is actually from the craft store. It is metal, but it's just a really simple gold button, and I decided that since we're adding this blingy crystal in and kind of mixing the bling with the natural elements, and then I'm, you know, accenting everything with gold, I just think that will be a really pretty closure. So I'm going to come underneath the button and do an overhand knot. I'm just going to scooch it down to the button. And so this leather is very fine, so sometimes when I'm knotting I'll decide to do another knot on top. I just kind of decide as I go, but I think that looks really great. And then from here, not everything, my two strands are not going to go through everything, but I think I'm going to start out with, let me see if these beads go on. Let me give myself a nice angled cut, and this is going to really be just a matter of seeing what will fit on. My spacer beads fit on, the bead caps fit on, the crystals fit on very well, but if I want to pull in anything else from over here, like these guys, I have to see if they fit. They're natural, so a lot of times with natural elements the holes are irregular and typically small, so like it is, those don't want to go on. I may or may not use the bamboo beads, but I had them out here with my summer items. Check this. This one has a little bit bigger hole. Oh, look at that. Perfect. Well, I'm going to use that one that's on, and I'm going to let my other strand of leather just hang out and do an overhand knot here. I'm so used to using my knotting tweezer. I don't usually use it with leather, but it works on leather. I have to look at my bracelet while I work. So I'm just going to grab the two pieces of leather where I want my knot to land. Same technique that I use when I'm doing like Brazilian waxed cord or a cotton cord. And just make that knot really pretty and snuggle it down to my beads. It's really pretty. I love the sparkle with the, you know, it's just unexpected with the natural elements. Okay, and let me see what I think of the, decide what I think of the bamboo with all of this. Definitely both of my strands will go through the bamboo. Oh wow, it's so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna use it. I really like it. I think I just want one bead in here though, in the bamboo. And then I'm gonna intersperse those really sparkly beads. I also might need, do I need to double? Sometimes when you have large hole beads and you're knotting, you need a double knot, but nope, it's holding perfectly. So look at that. That's so pretty. It's so natural. And then let me see if I want to do my shell next, or my, I think I'm going to do the crystal, do a little section of crystal now. Crystal, a spacer, a crystal. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love the natural elements. And next I'm going to do my shell, my cowrie shell. And what I'm going to do is put one piece of my leather down through the top of the shell and pull it down. It's a little tight in there. the teeth. Just pull it down to my knot. And but before I want a gold spacer. I'm gonna back this down because I do want to flank it with gold. In fact, I'm gonna stack my spacers. I'm gonna do the small one that's in between the last bead station and stack the next one right behind that, and then I'll separate my strands and do what I was about to do, where I put one down through the top of the cowrie shell. Doesn't really matter which way it goes, and I'm going to pull it down to the spacers like that, and then this second strand is going to come up through the bottom. So up from the bottom, and that's going to like encase my cowrie shell like that. It's going to make it nice and tight, and then I'm going to come on this side and do the same thing with the spacers. Put both strands through my bigger one and then the smaller one, and bring it down and put a knot. And I think I'm going to go back to crystals and then my Z bead and then check my length, doing this exact technique. Look at that, it's so pretty. Okay, and then I want to get some more sparkle in here. And what I'm doing is kind of alternating the strands that I put the sparkly beads on. So I'm going to come to this side and do another one of those kind of stations with the sparkle bead, a spacer and a sparkle bead, and then another knot. And then I think I'm going to go to my Z bead next. Okay, that gets me to my length really well. So I'm going to get a knot with that loop, just like that. And before I tighten anything, I want to, before I commit, I want to check this and make sure that it fits over my button. And it does. It might even be a little bit big. Let me just fiddle with this a little bit. If I need to back this, pull this up, it's not tight, and that's kind of the way that I do it before I commit, is to check everything. Okay, and from here, like I might just leave these little, this is a little bit of natural, like it's kind of rustic. I'll just leave these two little tails as just like a little embellishment. And like I said, when I make my other bracelets, I really want to be able to stack these bracelets. So it may be that I don't put a charm on all of them, but look at that. Isn't that so pretty? I love adding in these two elements, and I love that Stella thought to pop this really sparkly bead in with that. So, and look, already like those two bracelets could be worn together, like, a moving bracelet and then a bangle or a cuff bracelet. So already those can be done. Okay, my last bracelet is going to be a stretch bracelet, And I think that I want to do a couple of stretch bracelets. So I actually left my cord. This was left over from a bead box from last month, and I actually left it really long. And so if you're not familiar with a stretch bracelet, you do want to pre-stretch your cord. It will make your bracelet last longer. And for this piece, I really want to use these, and I really want to use this heart as my focal. And these are so gorgeous. I'm tempted, I don't know yet. That's why I'm reserving the right for my charms, because these would even be really pretty on my earrings. So I have those set aside here. And I love these moonstone beads with this heart. So I'm going to try to get some of those in here. And maybe on this one, I'm going to go with the shinier gold. I really like the pop of sparkle with this and this in this box. So let me come up with a little pattern here, decide what I want to do. Okay, I love this bracelet so much. I did go into my Tibetan spacer stash, and I got one of these beads for where my knot is going to get tied, where my pattern is going to finish, because the knot will go right inside. It's hollow in there. And then I used one here. So my heart it's asymmetrical, you know, like the pattern, it sort of repeats. Let me lay it out here and show you. It sort of repeats, and I just pop those little crystals in. Let me tie it off, and then I'll show you. I'll put it on my arm. I'm going to give it one more little pre-stretch, and then I do a square knot when I do this. So I'm just going to do like right over left and come in this direction. It's easier for me to switch my hands. And I use that same GS Hypo Cement that I used on my leather. And I'll just do this a couple of times. I want my knot not to get too big, my knot not to get too big, because I do want to be able to pull it inside that bead. When I'm making a stretch bracelet like this, I try to finish my pattern so that my knot is near a bead that has a large enough hole for me to slip it inside. So I think I can do one more and it will still fit. And I'm just going to get the lid off this GS Hypo Cement. I am almost due for a new tube, but there's still glue in there. And I'm just going to separate this. I don't want to make a mess with this, but I just want to get a nice bead of glue on my knot. Okay, and I'm still holding it apart. This pin back in here, and what I do to make it really secure is, while I'm holding my stretch cord apart, is slide that knot into whatever bead I want it to hide inside. Just wiggle it in there. There it goes. Popped right in there. Perfect. And now I'm going to come and trim, and I let my glue dry a little bit before I stretch this over my wrist. And the other thing that I do with my stretch bracelets is make them a little bit larger than I need them, so they last a little bit longer, because stretch bracelets are wonderful. They're wonderful in the heat of the summer. They're easy on and off, but they are not forever jewelry. So I always like to remind everybody that's maybe new to this, is when this, if you know, after a few seasons, this will probably be stretched out. Depends on how much you wear it, but don't toss this away. Like, harvest your beads, take your beads back, because you can either restring it very quickly, they're very fast to make, or, you know, string it another way. But I really love this bead. It was my favorite bead in the whole box, and I really wanted to see it. So let me clean up my mess, and I'll put up some better pictures at the end of the video. But this is my first 3 projects I can actually stack all of these bracelets together if I want to wear them all together. They're all different media. This is like boho at its finest, artisan boho. I love that Stella thought to give us kind of a cuff blank for wire wrapping. That is so wonderful. And I will be back with a necklace. I'll decide about what I'm going to use for my earrings and for my charms. And honestly, at this point, like, I don't even feel like that I need a charm for this bracelet. Actually, I don't feel like I need a charm. But when I'm all done with my other project, I'm going to be using the leather and some of these same elements. I'll decide if I want to go back and add charms to this. So I thank you so much for watching. Check the description box. You have to tap more under the video title, and to reveal the whole thing, you'll see more another time, and that will show you everything that's there. There will be links to the Didi Beads website there, and all of my tools and anything that I have used in my project that I can link, that I know where I got it, because I do shop in my own stash quite a bit, but I do my best to link the things that, you know, I've used in my designs in case you like them and you want to try it for yourself. So I thank you all for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.